We're joined today by Joshua Lynch, who has just won third prize in the Christopher Tower Poetry Competition for a wonderful poem called Riddle Me. Congratulations, Joshua. Is it the first time you've sent a poem into a poetry competition like
Yeah,
this? Well,
first
that's
time.
astonishing. Will you do it again?
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
It's been such a treat sitting with your poems. Myself and my co-judges have really found ourselves involved in your poem because there's so much, it seems to me, looking at it here, that we might talk about and I might just ask you about, because I think one thing that really struck us was the imagery that you seem to pull out of the poem, and you seem to have an extremely good sense of an inner world. And it seemed to us, when you talk about saying that you were born where the question mark bends like a sapling in wind, we thought that was absolutely thrilling. And we particularly loved the way you talked about a lantern holding its trembling core, and a bird rehearsing flight in the dark behind its bones. Um, how do you find that interior in a poem and bring it out into the surface so that someone like me can sit here and appreciate your poem? Where's your starting point?
Um, I would say when I was writing the poem, took a lot of retries. I think I changed it from Riddle Me to, I think I started with the first line as the name of it, then I changed it to Riddle Me, because I think it unravels the poem more, as not only it's been the theme, but it talks about the whole poem as two words. Yeah,
Because titles are hard, aren't they?
yeah.
Do you sometimes start with a title and then build a poem around it, or do you find that comes in right at the end?
I'll probably do it at the end because it'll take a lot of time.
It's interesting because some poems almost have a title and they peg the poem on the title like a
Yeah,
coat, don't they? But others, you have to work your way through. And when you're dealing with riddles, of course, the title's quite important because you could accidentally give something quite important away, couldn't you?
yeah.
But something we really loved, Joshua, about your poems was your use of sound as well. And sound seems to be very important to you. You obviously hear the world as well as see the
Yeah,
world. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. Do you get that from music? Do you get that from writing? Do you get that from conversation? What are
I
you
would say
listening to?
music because I played drums. I started when I was young, very loud in the house. But I guess from the sound of the drums, you hear every instrument and it's all different. So I would say I got it from that.
And you play an acoustic kit in the house.
Yeah,
So you're a very patient family.
I think so. Yeah,
um, and tell me, do you also read aloud? Is that something you enjoy and you might continue to do?
yeah, most likely, yes.
That's brilliant, because you read beautifully today, I thought.
Thank
It was
you.
really striking listening to you with the connection between the inner life of the poem and the way you brought it into public, because that's one of the things that really struck us about this poem is it has a poem of great depth, and pulling that experience up to the surface is quite an art and skill. You say that it's quite hard work with drafting. So can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how this particular poem came to be in the form that it is? Where did it begin?
When I first I thought about how in a society people don't really think about what they're told. Like as a child, you're not really gonna think about what an adult tells you. You're gonna think they're right. But I talked about how we all should think about what we're being told and being questioning what you're told shouldn't be seen as something incorrect to do. In some circumstances, yes, but it should be seen as something you could bring meaning to the conversation, or it could give you another direction to go off of.
That's so interesting, Joshua. So, I mean, in a way, you're using poetry to question some of the questions that you're being asked as
Yeah.
well. And can you see yourself continuing with that?
Yes, most likely,
And
yes.
poetry is a form of resistance as well as interrogation, it
Yeah.
seems to be. That's brilliant. Joshua, I wonder if you'd very kindly share your poem with us now.
Yeah, I can. The poem is called Riddle Me. I was born where the question mark bends, like a sapling in the wind, a place that speaks only in riddles, the way the river speaks only in a glimmer and guesswork. My mother taught me to hold silence, the way a lantern holds its trembling core. Every answer, she said, is just a shadow trying out a shape. So riddle me this. Where does a thought go before it breaks the surface of the mind? Is it a bird rehearsing flight in the dark behind its bones, or a door rehearsing being a door? In school they handed us certainties, neat, stackable, obedient, but I kept pocketing the leftovers, the maybe, the nearly, the not quite sure. They clinked like small suns against my thighs as I walked home. Riddle me that. Sometimes at night I try solve myself. I hold my breath to see if I can hear the machinery of wanting, the gears of fear, the pulleys of hope. What begins as a whisper sometimes ends as a fault line. And riddle me this, if I untie every knot in my name, will I vanish or simply become the string I was meant to be? Morning arrives like on an open letter. I lift its seal with cautious fingers, half dreading, half daring, the answer inside, but it only says, riddle me still. And so I do. A question fashioned of breath, a body leaning into its own mystery, walking the long, bright corridor between what is known and what is waiting to be.
Joshua Lynch, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.